yesterday I was not feeling good. I come because I woke up feeling better, but I was thinking yesterday to just do the YouTube. But then I woke up fine, and I said, okay, let me go because I know the Thai told me that he needed most of today. The dates.
Okay.
When they were March 18th to April 4th.
Oh, that's fine. Yeah, you're good. You are perfect. Yeah. Did you come after this and talk about the MPLC? Yes. Okay. You said March, what is it?
March 28th.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah.
And the MPLC will be,
Yes, because it's the last Wednesday.
before that.
Okay.
You have it.
Okay, good.
I mean, not that you had to worry about that, but yeah.
Yeah, I was not thinking all that. I'm sorry.
Well, we had to pick the date in the last one.
I have a passport is expiring on April 15th. So I was thinking to, renew, but the renewal take like 8 weeks.
It does,
And then I asked if I can travel with the passport is expired, and they say yes. So then I decided to travel before the
expiration date.
Like, otherwise I would need to wait until I have the passport to buy the travel.
And that's summertime, so you forget it.
So I changed everything. And I decided I found something cheap, and I said, okay, we'll go.
So where do you decide to go?
Friday.
You go, but where? So you said between, the two places.
It's going to be Punta Cana. Well, like Romana is like 45 minutes away from Punta Cana. I will travel to Punta Cana.
I'm so excited. Do they know?
I normally do not travel before April 8th and then the taxes. At the end of March, my client is already gone with the taxes, so I'm gonna be out for a year.
Enjoy yourself.
Yeah. It's just 1 week. If anybody needs something, I will come back.
Yeah,
And we have 2 weeks.
But not even that, you can do things remotely, you can talk, you know what I mean, like it's fine. Yeah.
But the price was included over the flights are only 400. But we found it for 200, so I have to
You have to do it, yeah, there's no doubt.
There's no one to find description. Here things
So no test during that time. That's good.
You're safe.
And the event that we're gonna do is going to be. I need to put it on.
And that was their foggy.
Otherwise, I forget. I would forget.
It's gonna be breakfast. March 8th. At 5
March 8th,
from 5 to 6 o'clock in the afternoon.
5 to 6. How do you call it?
It's the MPLCS. It's the spirit, the multicultural parent.
And you need me to be there for translation?
No, not sure the normal, we're gonna talk to Cleveland today after the meeting.
Okay.
Talk about the key points that we discussed. Touch base with the parents to see what they need.
It's a joke.
Okay.
We have that conversation when it happens. It's not the community, what the community might be, so I think you're ready today, and before I figure out what the agenda's gonna be like.
Okay. 5 to 6.
That'd be great. And so it's short Wednesday, so.
That was crazy for me.
Is there anyone
Because I
online?
have gymnastic, I have to be careful.
We have Jesus online.
Then I'm
And that's it.
run to the gymnastic.
So we are at, with Zadi in the room, we have 5.
Jesus Diaz.
We have
I
5
have to have like a 5.
members who are here. We need 2 more to hold the meeting.
Good
morning. We need 2 more people to hold a meeting.
But I can't do these scams.
Listen, I'm not going to. We leave our house, we're now building. You know, be
Oh
You're
my
always
gosh.
rushing, always rushing. But then once my oldest son graduated with the college, did his own thing. So it's the last year of feeling like I'm not completing because it was too soon.
Yeah, it's just.
And you're like, he's like, now try this.
No, I'm gonna do it.
Yeah.
You graduate, you do it.
He's like, Mom, I have my license. I said, okay. The lady was being very nice. You should not have your license.
Then you know,
They're
good.
Hey, good morning.
That's
Hey,
what
guys.
I get, the basket, it's two days, it's Tuesday, Thursdays, and then Saturdays,
Mhm.
the games.
Mhm.
In Lake Nona. I don't like to travel more than 20 minutes. I like, I'm used to accommodate to be here, you
Yes.
know, free that everything is closed, less than 20,
Yes.
25 minutes. If anything over 25 minutes,
Girl,
I bring my
I
passport.
tried, I know. He tried, so we did have a school stop at the time, and it was great because we lived there across the street, and it was not a concern. So we could walk and just do practice or go to the street. Then they got too old,
Mhm.
and they're still on always a little bit, but they needed more. My husband was coaching, and I was like, you're great, but
Exactly.
you're not enough enough.
Exactly.
So then that's when we had to look at it. Everything was good. So we
It's
did
not
have them.
exactly. Same thing happened with the basketball. We were around, but then they needed more.
Yeah.
My son and my nephew, he also rushed there to the basketball. They needed more. They need a better league to compete. So then we started on the YMCA. No, no, you know, going over there.
It's
No,
just,
it's
because we practice
it's a
4 days, yeah, we practice 4 days a week. And then.
4 days?
4 days a week and then Saturdays are the games. And that's now with Dylan, before it was Ryan, and they had the same schedule, it was like you have to go at 5 o'clock, because Dylan would start from 6, we go from 6 to 8, and then Ryan would start from 7 to 9:30. So like you would leave at 6 or at 5
Morning.
from your house, and not get home until 10 o'clock. It was crazy.
And what did you get?
Did you guys wait for me?
No, we're waiting to have
So
quorum.
We don't have quorum, I just texted you. So dinner with you.
We need one more SAC member to have quorum.
Before we left.
Oh, man.
Or if we had breakfast.
We have 6 out of 14 here
Yes, he's there.
To have an official meeting.
to have an official meeting, correct?
How are you?
Here.
Yeah.
Because you need
Are we
1
live?
hour to start practicing.
Yes.
Well, if nothing else, we can get started. And,
Yes.
We call the meeting to order once we have quorum.
Yes.
who do we,
Fletchinger is our Mr.
oh, yeah. Hey, Mr.
Yay!
Listen, the fog out there has got people driving
Like they always do, but there's fog.
yeah.
At least mine.
Well said, well said.
At least my route from 17 was that one.
It is. It is.
Because of the construction, the construction.
Yep. It is.
But now we have quorum.
How are you?
They think you can get their big.
All right, let's get this party started.
Starting over at the pre-K.
Okay, well, so, Kale, are you gonna be our interim,
Yes,
secretary today?
yes, that happened like a few minutes ago.
I heard because it was
so-
supposed to be Kazar, and then
Yes,
she got stuck in fog traffic as well, so,
yes.
perfect.
So would you like me to start with the notes from the
Well,
last?
let's,
Not yet.
yeah, let's,
Oh, we gotta call to order first.
we do. All right, we have just enough people here, just over half of our committee members, so we can have an official meeting. All right, well, good morning. So I am glad to welcome everybody to our February SAC meeting. Thank you for those of you who are in attendance and online. All right, so let's get this thing moving and let's have, can we get a motion to start the meeting?
Motion.
Yeah, all right, and then with a second. All right, great job, Mr. Bench. Thank you. Good morning. All right, so we're gonna get this thing started and we are going to run through the minutes. Ms. Blessinger is not here this morning, so Ms. Cahow, leadership shirt looks awesome. Thank you.
Thank you. So Ms. Fletchinger left these notes for the last meeting. She said, Mr. Nappens explained the rationale between Fast 1 and Fast 2 comparison. We are on the right track to reach the level of proficiency. Math, 36%, and ELA, we were at 60% proficiency. In the first PMA, we went from 66% proficiency to 71%. In the second PMA, we went up to a 74% proficiency. Mr. Nappens also mentioned that he's very excited to get this program started, pre-kindergarten or kindergartner two-way dual language program, full immersion. Ms. Torres reminded us to complete the survey, very important, teachers, parents, and students. She also mentioned that students need to complete 2 lessons on iReady in both reading and math. Torres also mentioned that the SAC committee has $3,249.54. She would love to hear about ways and resources on how we can spend this money. And that's it.
Fantastic. All right. Everybody feel good about the minutes? Anybody want to add anything to the minutes? Anything that was missed? All right. So I'm gonna motion that we approve the minutes. All right, Ms. Blair, second. Thank you. All right. We're moving on. Okay. So I'm gonna do just a quick spiel on the two-way dual language, and then Ms. Zupa is going to elaborate. All right. So as we mentioned in our last meeting, something that program that we had at my previous school was a two-way dual language program with Spanish specifically. And man, it was a great program. And knowing that our school is composed of 66% Hispanic, right? And of those, most of them are language learners, right? So I thought this would be an amazing program that we could bring to Endeavor to help support that initiative. And man, it's been just something we've talked about, and we finally got a hold of Multilingual Services, which is a department downtown, and they're on board with adding a few more schools. We're going to add a program. You guys know that Hunters Creek right now is a two-way dual language magnet, all right? And West Creek is actually adding a two-way dual language program as well. So super exciting stuff. We met with a team from Multilingual Services last week.
Mhm.
Yeah, last week, and to go over some of the intricacies of the program. Ms. Zupa and myself had a lot of questions, and they provided a lot of answers. And I'm gonna let Ms. Zupa talk about that.
They were, everybody. They were very helpful. I have to admit, when we first went into it, I was like, I don't know what this program is about. I just had a lot of questions, but they answered all their questions, very organized. I think we feel really comfortable with starting with pre-K next year, so it'd be a pre-K BPK type program, where the students will be 20 students, 10 English speakers, 10 Spanish speakers, and then in one class together. The program for pre-K runs one day on, one day off, so one day is English, one day is Spanish. But what's so great about that is that it's a full day BPK. So like nowadays, BPK is only half a day. Parents who need the other half, the other half. This one's completely funded, so the whole day is with us. And so get a nap time, which I'm so excited about for them. And I feel like for pre-K, if they follow a different curriculum than what we follow right now with the CRMs and the initial kindergarten, but the program that we looked at looks like it's a wonderful program. I don't know the Spanish part of it, but we're learning, and it just seems like they're very organized. So, and they offer a lot of support. So anytime we run into a question or an issue, they're going to be there to support us. So then after we do pre-K, we'll obviously add a kindergarten meeting. We might start kindergarten, we're still coming with the idea. We're not 100% there yet with kindergarten, but it's a good possibility, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Kindergarten runs a little different, where it'd be 2 classes, and it's half day, half day. So like the AM session and the PM session will alternate. So whoever got Spanish in the morning will get Spanish in the afternoon. So they'll get it all day long, but just in 2 different languages throughout the day. Wait, I'm missing something. What I thought was really cool though, too, was that this program goes all the way through to high school. So she'd say that by the end, if the student stays with the dual language program all the way, and luckily, what do we feed into Hunters Creek Middle and Meadowwoods? Meadowwoods is also coming on with the program. So parents will have to decide, my students are going to Hunters Creek or to go here. They have the choice to go to either one, because that's what they're zoned for, and the program will just carry through. And like in high school, you have to do 2 years of a foreign language, and then college, you have to do 2 years of foreign language. If they finish a complete program, they get a seal of bilingual.
Yeah.
It
was a seal.
It was a
A
special seal.
silver seal and a gold seal.
Where they won't have to take the second language in college in order to fight for everything. So I mean, it sounds like it's a great program. A lot of commitment. You're going all the way through your whole career. But we were just really impressed. I feel like whatever we decide to start, definitely with pre-K, but if we decide to do both, we'll have the support from the district.
Yeah, no, listen, it's super exciting. So a couple things. I mean, Zupa, thank you. That was a great explanation. Real quick. So this is actually incorrect. I apologize. It's VPK. It's not pre-K, which there is a difference because VPK a half day is federally funded, and then the district pays for the second half of the day. So it's a full day program for the kiddos. Where the models are different is that this day is that they go on and off with Spanish and English. So it's one teacher and VPK, right? Where they go into kindergarten and through kindergarten and on, it's a pair of teachers, right? So it would be like Ms. Zupa and I would teach the Spanish portion, and Ms. Zupa would teach the English portion, but it's specific content areas, right? So I think science and math are taught in Spanish.
Because it's science and math, that's important. So
In English, thank you. And then ELA is taught in Spanish, right? And then, but the multilingual services have a tremendous amount of data to reflect like student progressions as they move up through primary and intermediate classes, our grade levels, that their proficiency data, right? Like their, what used to be FSA, their FSA data was comparable and in some cases even higher than students who were in just a purely like traditional English speaking mainstream class. So, last thing I want to say about this is that just remind me really quick. So the 20 students for VPK is first come, first serve, right?
Well, we have 2 spots for like, 2 spots for staff.
For staff kiddos.
Right, and then 18 are first come, first served. So they don't have to district these out for our school, they just have to be interested.
But then the second part is where like once they come into kindergarten, they have a very specific mix. So they try to, so like if they're a third of the students would be purely Spanish speakers, a third of the students would be pure English speakers, and then the other third would be students who are truly bilingual already. And then the district would come in and help us kind of screen those kiddos and make sure that we have as close to the mix as possible. So.
Question regarding registration. If they're coming first come, first serve for pre-K, are they able to stay the entire program? Or when they go into kindergarten, it's go through the same process that they have to be zoned for us?
That's a great question. I don't know. I don't know. It's a
No,
good question.
no, it's some
No, it's a
questions
great question
that-
because obviously parents would want to be with the school that they're
Yeah, because
zoned
there's gonna
for.
be questions from parents
Yeah.
if they're starting here, they maybe don't wanna move them again for kindergarten or.
Yep.
And
Yeah,
then
that's a great question.
what was really interesting was, with all the schools that are coming on board, I think Spanish speaking, most people already have a unit. So the only school around us that won't would be Spanish Creek. So, I mean, and when we do send information out, it'll be to our local like daycares.
Okay.
So hopefully you'll be kids within this community already, that there'll be a feeder school hopefully that.
I'm trying to remember, but did they say that there would be pre-K kids who would be zoned for our school?
Yes.
Yeah.
Because we have the daycares here that are all.
Right, so
We get a
it
lot of teens and.
would be VPK kids who would eventually feed to our school. Because it's not a magnet program. It's
Yeah,
not like
it's gonna
Hunters Creek where students would apply for the two-way dual language program and then they would be accepted here out of zone. Like these would be our kids who would eventually come to our school.
That's great.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, Ms. Gartaya, good morning.
Good morning.
In Weatherby, when they started,
Mhm.
the BPK was not for some. It was first serve, first come, and you can leave, whatever.
Mhm.
That was the program that they started 6 years ago. And I have a question about this program because my nephews, they study at the Weatherby.
Mhm.
And I noticed that this school is kind of easy going for the kids. I noticed like is in the middle for kids that are very fast and very fast learning and kids that are more slowly. Because comparing it to another school, I feel they are very stressful with all the homework and stuff. Something that to consider because I noticed that you guys in the SAC Meeting, I noticed that you always are taking care of the social, emotional integrity of the student. This program is very rushing. It's very stressful for the kids. My nephews always are in a rush. Even though they know Spanish from their houses, it's very rushing because they have to do like 2 homeworks. Like they are always rushing. And I think something to consider is how you're gonna manage the emotional and the stress that they're gonna have because they're gonna have.
Right.
It's something that they will need to learn even though they are English, Spanish speaking, they don't know how to write, how to do the program. So I think it's gonna be good to consider
Yeah.
how you guys can manage the stressful, because I know that it's very important for you guys. Another school, they just, I don't know, they are only paying attention to the data, and the kids are stressful. They also, Spectrum News 13 have them that school yesterday on the news.
Oh, really?
And my nephew was on the news talking about it. He was, well, it's hard, but we make it through. That's not true. He's always stressful. He's very stressful at home.
Oh, yeah.
He used to
He's
be
been in for a while,
an in here, Logan Good. He used to be, he made kindergarten here and then Paramount. And he's always stressful.
Sure.
It's very hard. We have to be, always taking him for the sport and stuff, because he's always stressful because his learning style is not like Daniel. Daniel can handle like 3 languages at a time.
Right.
But Logan is slowly
It's
like
true.
Victoria. He is slowly, he got stressed.
Yeah.
I cannot do it. So I think it's something very good to consider.
Sure.
Why you put them inside, because they're gonna be stressful and
That's why we were talking of being stressful. I mean, it's something new for us too. So we're trying to start slow and maybe hopefully grow it. And so
Good
the
point.
students,
Yeah.
kind of move through that together.
I think,
Grow together.
it will be nice for you, because I love this school because of that. Like, we don't have like always a bunch of home work,
yeah,
and the kids can enjoy their childhood at home. But other schools are not the same. They have a bunch of homework. The kids are stressed in the school and they're not sad. So don't lose that.
yeah. No, listen, I think that's a perfect, thank you. I think that's a good segue into like what's next, right? Because, like we need to, as a school, and we talk about Mizuka a lot because she's our ESOL compliance specialist, right? So she works with all our language learners, and it's not just, sometimes we think about language learners, and I do this sometimes too, and it's not just students who are Spanish speakers, right? Native Spanish speakers, because we have students here, I mean, I don't know how many languages we have represented at Endeavor, but it's a handful, right?
Yeah, nice.
Yeah, 9,
Actually,
perfect.
a little more.
Yeah, so that's, but we need to continue to learn more about the program here in the second half of the school year. So when we do roll the program out next year, we're fully committed to pre-K, and we're still kind of taking into consideration what we would do for kindergarten. We're just looking at our current staffing situation and who would be a good fit, if that's something we want to do this year. But we want to visit schools. We do want to visit Weatherby. They were listed as one of like the model schools. We also want to visit Hunters Creek because they've had the magnet program there for so long. And like I said, we want to select the right staff. We want to make sure that, that they're going to be the good fit for the program, that they know and understand what the expectations are from the district. And then the last 2 bullet point, or the third bullet point is just bringing parents in, and maybe through the MPLC process that we have coming up here in a couple weeks, to really educate them on the program, talking about the commitment, because it is something that the district, to embrace the model, to commit to moving up through the program, right? So you start in pre-K, and then that cohort of kids goes to kindergarten, and then they move to first grade together, second grade, third grade, and so on. So, and then finally getting the students registered. So, super excited about this endeavor. And I think it's gonna be good. It's gonna be an awesome addition to what we have going on here already at Endeavor. So that's all I have. Any questions?
There is a question online. They want to know, is this going to be a choice or will it be integrated into the curriculum here at Endeavor?
It'll be a choice, right? So we'll go based on interest. Yeah, great question.
That's very good.
Great question. All right, any other questions?
So is it every year we're adding a grade level because that cohort is moving up and then we
That's
just fill
right.
that cohort? So essentially in 6 years, if it does start in kindergarten next year, it'll be K through 5?
That's it. That's exactly right. Perfect.
Somebody just asked when will it start next school year?
Mm-hmm. I guess it's when and what. So like again, too, like I said, we're fully committed to starting the pre-K program. It's a 1 teacher model. And we're still kind of seeing what kindergarten would look like here at Endeavor, because it would be a 2 teacher model. It'd be more like departmentalized. All right. So they would share students and swap throughout the day. So, Any other questions?
When is registration?
Don't know yet. It's soon though, right? Because
pre-K,
pre-K registration is coming
March
up.
6th.
No, for pre-K.
For pre-K.
So it said March 20th.
Yeah.
Graduation, like next week.
So our goal through MPLC, which is the Multilingual Parent
27.
Leadership Council,
This will
is to is to really advertise the program, and knowing that like the way that Multilingual Services explained it to us is that knowing like the Hunters Creek community, that they fully expect this program to be full within like the first couple of minutes of it being open, just because the level of interest and the level of language learners that we have that are of Spanish descent. So. But I'll let you know. Okay. Okay, we're good? All right, great. Okay, and then we're going to move on really quick to, man, we had some awesome celebrations. I think it was 2 weeks ago. Oh, they're both here too. Great. Listen, so a week ago Friday, so about a week and a half ago, we had a chance to attend the Stellar Awards like we do every year, where we recognize, the district recognizes our Teacher of the Year and the Support Person of the Year. And not only ours, but they recognize them all throughout the district. So, you know, you have a couple hundred Teachers of the Year and a couple hundred Support Persons of the Year. There are Assistant Principals of the Year, Principals of the Year. What did I say? But so, man, listen, so we were very fortunate enough not only to have our candidates recognized by the district or by our staff, but then also Ms. Cahow, the wonderful Ms. Cahow, was a finalist. So she is one of the 5 finalists for Teacher of the Year in Orange County Public Schools. I think it's the first time, actually I know it's the first time we've ever had a finalist here at Endeavor, 22 years. So it was very exciting. And man, listen, it's like an award show. It was like the Emmys, like it was amazing. So we're all sitting there. It was like Ms. Cahow and her family, Ms. Gote and her family, Ms. Zupa was there, my wife and I were there, and we were front and center. Like we were sitting here, the podium was here, and it was fantastic, right? And the Teacher of the Year is always the last award, and literally sitting there. I could have swore they were going to say Joy Cahow, but they didn't. Well, listen, I can tell you, as we are every year, man, we were well represented with our amazing staff at the Stellar Awards, is what it's called, and it was just a great night. And this is something that we do every year, and I think that we just need to continue to make more public. So, very proud of our finalists, and it was a great night. It was a great night. So.
Woo! So now we're going to move on to our school improvement plan, which you all know we've been working on all year, informing everybody of our 3 goals and kind of updating everybody on some things Endeavor is doing to achieve our goals within the school improvement plan. And as it was brought up last week, we do have $3,249.54 in the SAC bank line in the budget. And we are looking for ways to support our staff, support our students in achieving these goals. And when we kind of left yesterday at the open table, we were like, hey, anybody have any ideas or input of how this money should be spent? So that's what this is kind of frozen on for today, for us to kind of discuss the budget of what we have and the funds to be spent for the year. I do know last year, to spend some of the funds, we worked collectively as the School Advisory Council to open up teacher grants. So teachers could use the money within their classroom to support different activities that they had planned. But once again, we all are here to work together to spend this money that we have. Yes.
So I would always supporting teachers, and like Tora said, we developed a great system here last year. Like I remember Mr. Bench wasn't even actually on SAC last year, but had an instrumental voice in just making sure that the policy and procedure that we had was sound in theory and actually in practice. So, and I had another idea, just so if we're just kind of throwing ideas out there, is man, I've been to schools where the stairs in the stairs, like in the front, like our stairs, we have this big grand set of stairs, actually have like, are actually, I don't want to use the term decorated, but like they either have like multiplication facts on them, or they have like vocabulary words, they have sayings on them, like some SEL sayings. I've seen some really cool ones. I'm gonna be honest with you, I should be more prepared. I don't even know how much that would cost, but I think that would be, I mean, our school, I don't know if people in here have had opportunities to go to their schools, but this place is truly like unique. The sheer facade, right? Like the paintings, and I think that would be something else that would really help, like kind of continue to jazz up the school. Those front stairs to have some type of how would you describe it? I don't want to say decoration, but because it'd be something permanent. Does everybody know what I'm kind of talking about there? Like
West Creek has it up
Do they?
at their school. West Creek does have it when I was there earlier this year.
I would be interested. I would volunteer to get some, maybe even visit another school, find out how many, or what kind of quotes they had or what it cost them. That's just an idea I'm throwing out there. I don't know if anybody's interested in that. I don't know that we need to vote and finalize anything today, or if everybody walked out here and said, hey, listen, teacher grants is where we want to allocate our money, I think that is an amazing idea too. So, what other ideas do people have?
And is there enough money for both? I noticed that last year it was good, the teachers to have like the extra money, like Coach Brown,
Yeah.
he needed that money to
For
improve
basketballs.
and it was, I heard from my child that it was a good idea. So the teachers, you guys need that money, or maybe we can use part for that because it's a good idea. Or try to budget that idea in order to have extra money for the teachers that need it.
That's a good idea. George, what was our allocation for teachers last year? We set like
I think we capped it at $150 per grant. We've got Joan online who said they believe teacher grants is a great idea. To be honest, a lot of teachers need those extra resources. I have the application up over here. But it was like, it was staff members could team up. So if they needed additional funds, they were able to combine that 150. If they wanted to collaborate, like as a grade level or as a team, they could utilize funds that way.
Man, I think that's a really good idea. Maybe not necessarily allocating it all to one thing. You know, if we could allocate $2,000 to teacher grants, and then the rest of it could be geared towards the like stairs, like some type of campus beautification. And I feel comfortable saying that maybe the school could compensate whatever would be left.
Yeah, and with a budget, we can find something that we can adapt to the budget.
Yeah.
If we have a budget, okay, let's try to find the cheapest and good way to do it.
Mm-hmm.
And have that money for both purposes, which are good. I think that the idea of the stairs are very interesting, colorful, extra learning. But the teacher having that money, I think is very because they can make the learning more interesting to the kids with those funds.
I'm concerned with the stairs because we have students sit there at dismissal. How do they hold up against students picking and peeling at it?
Good question. I don't know. I actually think, I don't know.
What about painting? It'd be expensive, right?
Well, I think there's just a lot of unknowns there. We just need to find out what
Yeah.
it's going to cost, what the material's going to be like, how those hold up, all those types of things.
I would wonder if they stick or if they're actually a part of like the laminate that is the stair covering. But that's a good question.
Are these people like how is the name of the artist teacher?
Oh, Mr. Riberon?
He maybe can know, because my mom is an artist and she always know all
Mhm.
the answer to that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So maybe he knows materials that can last and stuff, maybe that he can give you an input about it.
Yeah, and I could reach out to, like, the district has specific vendors for this, but maybe for the purpose of like knowing that it's already February, knowing that we only have March, April, May left of school, so if we wanted to, this is a suggestion, if we wanted to be actionable right now, if we could dedicate X amount of dollars from this meeting right now, dedicate X amount of dollars towards teacher funds or towards teacher grants, and that way next meeting, we could actually start reviewing some of those teacher grants, and that way they could actually use the money before the end of the school year to like really,
Can I ask a question?
no.
I know that we have a church here now that is renting our facilities.
They just
Wh-
left. They just left.
They just left.
Yeah.
Where was that church money going to though, the rental money?
Yeah, that's a good question. So there's a facility rental fund, that money goes into, and it's basically discretionary money. That's why I was saying I'm confident that if there is any of this money left over, that probably be compensated from.
So I think I liked where you started out with like $2,000 going towards teacher grants and then the balance going towards the staircase thing. We can look into it, kind of, bring details back on what it would look like, what the wear and tear estimate on something like that. And then if we decide that we don't want to go with the stair thing, we can just roll that into the teacher grants.
I like it.
Yeah.
I like it too.
I like that.
So do we wanna vote on, so here's what I would do, like, I'm just gonna put a motion out there, right? And we don't have to agree on it. If we don't, then we won't move forward, but, so I would motion that of the $3,249.54 that's currently in the SAC fund, that 2,000 of those dollars right now be allocated towards teacher
Grant funds.
grant funds, like SAC grants, like we established last year.
Second.
Okay. All right, good. So then let's do a formal vote on that. I know that we have some people online and some people have left, but so all in favor then? We have a second, so then we'll vote on it for $2,000. All right. Okay, perfect. Okay, good. All right, great. So then I think like our action item from now, like literally like ASAP, is to share this with the teachers. Actually, it was all staff, right, last year?
It was all staff, yeah.
So we share with the staff now that we'll be accepting. Torres did a fantastic job last year creating parameters on timelines as far as like, you set deadlines for when the grants had to be accepted. So we can review them. Do you feel comfortable sending that out again?
Yes. Yes. Sorry. I see somebody else online and I want to make sure they're documented.
Yeah.
That they are here. It just depends if we want to, I want to put that out there to the faculty, but we want to make sure that we have, the parameters in for it, for the year. So I don't know if we want to go over the parameters within the next couple of minutes, just to make sure, because they could be the same as last year, but I want to make sure whatever goes out, they know the expectation now so that they can start collaborating.
Yeah. So and I think you're spot on. The only thing I would add to that is that last year, we amended the bylaws to ensure that this process was cemented, right? So, So if we want to deviate from the current process, which I thought we all felt really good about, then we would have to have like a formal amendment, which is also okay. So but I think it's a good idea to review what we currently have.
Yeah, I can pull that. I have it right here.
Of what was current.
Yeah, no,
Thank you.
yeah, we're good. We're good.
So,
my vote, I'll chime in.
sorry, move that out of the way.
All right.
This is just what we had in place last year. SAC is pleased to offer SAC grants, staff grants for projects involving students at Endeavor. They come from the SAC budget line. All eligible staff must submit a grant proposal 1 week prior. That way we can schedule them in and invite them into the meeting to ensure that they are present. We made sure that you could only have 2 grant proposals for the year as long as funds were available. And we said every staff member may request up to $150 per project, and you could apply as a team for $150 per staff member. And if they were awarded, they must present at a SAC meeting, pictures, videos, just to see of how the funds were used, how it must relate to the school improvement plan for the year, which we have our 3 goals, which these were our 3 goals last year, so we can update them. But those were the initial parameters of it. Yes.
I love what you did last year. It was amazing. And we all were agree. The only thing I can propose at this moment due to the inflation is maybe put it like $200 because from last year to today, everything have been raised in prices. So maybe 150 is not enough for just one project. Or maybe, I don't know, 175 or 200 due to the inflation for them to be able to buy something, representative, good.
To be honest, if I remember correctly, last year, I believe we only had 9 grants submitted. And we only spent about $2,500 of the money last year. So if we increased it to 200, that's about 10 staff members who would benefit if they were to apply for it. So that is something equivalent to what was spent last year.
The only other thing I might add is if we do increase it, that would have to also include the shipping. Because last year, like the 150 didn't include shipping or tax, which we are tax exempt for the most part.
But shipping is
but
not
shipping
exempt.
is not exempt.
If we do end up with going with the stair idea, we'd only have $2,000 to work with. So
it would still work out to be about 10 staff
10
members.
staff members at 150. And I guess we don't have data on this, but do you remember what the average grant was last year?
The average grant was 150
Okay.
without
Yeah.
shipping, because I know there was a
Right.
little extra in shipping.
The only one that went up higher was ESE's grant.
Which we
because
could-
they paid together as a-
We could collaborate and put a cap on it for team member grants. Like instead of allowing it to be like $1,200, we could put a cap on team grants could only be, like 600 or something to that nature. We can put a cap if we want on a team effort. That way it can still continue to impact more students here at the school.
We have to remember too, we're working with like a way shorter timeline because I would say, in my opinion, would be, this is something that has to be, maybe this is written in here and I forgot, but like, it needs to be used this school year, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it doesn't seem like it because it seems like we have a lot of time, but we really don't.
So when you say this school year, does it have to be done by May or is it over the summer? Because if we're doing the stairs, that project wouldn't happen until probably summer.
I'm talking about the grants.
And the grants,
specifically.
if it's built in, they have to present at that
Right,
final meeting
sure.
in May.
Okay,
So not-
So if they were to get funded, they would have to present in May
yeah.
at the latest.
So we have like, next month, we can approve the grants, which is March, then they have April and May, 2
Mhm.
months to implement the thing.
Right.
And that's actually, that timeline works out because there's a lot of teachers who are doing things for review to get ready for the not end of course exam, but
Yeah.
the third PMA of the best.
If they agree to use that money that quick, if it's gonna benefit them, then I think they are the ones that
Yeah.
are gonna tell, okay, I'm gonna be able to.
Yeah, we can definitely make that
I love
happen.
that. I really love it last year.
So now that,
I'm leaning more to leaving it as is. Because if you bump it up to 2,000, I mean, yeah, that's 10 grants, but I mean, I don't know. If there are more people that come in that they want to have part in that,
Mhm.
then you'd also be cutting down the
Thank you so
opportunity
much.
for those. If you allow for larger grants. I don't think inflation had a 33% increase on this, so jumping it up to 200 seems a bit of an overcorrection for inflation.
mhm.
I don't know, that's just some counterpoints, I guess.
Mhm. I mean, the only thing I would like to say, bump it up for the fact of shipping. I think shipping on some of those items last year was a lot.
And I remember last year, some of the teachers have to pay out of pocket. The grant, it was not enough.
Oh, yeah, and they just supplemented
I
it.
think you have to pay out of pocket.
Yeah, for the black lights, but I was,
Something out of pocket.
but I was just appreciative of the $150 that I didn't have to spend out of pocket. I do know that. So saving that was a huge benefit. So even if it doesn't fund the entire project, it's a portion of the project.
Maybe increasing it to 175.
Maybe once, because
To
last
include
year
shipping.
the average was 9,
Mm-hmm.
maybe we can expect 2 or 3 more
Yeah.
staff to apply, so if we do.
'Cause they saw it.
175, that maybe we can have 11, space for 11 members. And
So increasing it to 175
To include shipping.
to include shipping and slight inflation. Are we
is that
wanting,
enough for more members?
oh, yeah.
I don't know.
Are we wanting to put a cap on team money or leave it as 175? Because if we have a grade level get together, it's a team of 6. You're looking at, I can't math right now, over $750. But that would be also an entire grade level that's impacting
Yeah.
well
I'm-
over 100
I'm with
students.
that- I'm with that option.
And they're going through the process of, I mean, it's not like they're asking for any more than one teacher. They're asking for 175.
I like it because they
dollars.
got
They choose
together.
to.
And then we also, as a committee last year, I remember with ESC, when they were talking about the funds, we were able to find a compromise in the middle
Yeah.
as well.
Yeah.
Like Shark Tank.
It was a little bit like Shark Tank.
Okay, and then, so let me ask you, are we gonna accept grants, like, when we send this out, are we gonna accept grants in the March meeting and the April meeting, or only the March meeting?
I think they can make it work in March and April
They
Okay.
presented me.
and present and still be able to present in May.
Okay.
And
Should we do this last year early?
we did start it a little earlier last year, yes.
But next year, should we start like in August or
Oh,
September?
We definitely can,
To
yes.
let the kids benefit and give the teachers more, or
Yeah.
it's not a good, something to write down and have a present for
Yeah,
the
Sooner,
next school year.
sooner rather than later, yes.
that could be a way we could really grow from this too, is like if students want to come together and write a SAC grant. Like a student initiative, that might be something wild, sorry, I'm just.
But in middle,
think some
in
of our,
high
like-
school,
like,
students are able to be a part of the
Yeah,
SAC committee. In
yeah.
high schools, they are able to.
That's good for them, making those decisions, that's.
I can tell you before, a more like goals and the turf of the kickball field. So those are all, yeah, snacks.
So,
They'll have some
I
great
will
ideas.
vote, I'm ready to vote. What is the motion?
We already motioned that we could spend the $2,000. We already voted that we can put this out. I just wanted to make sure the application looked like, I'm just seeing some of the, like this updating the school improvement plan, updating the dates, updating the cost. That's why I've been writing down of the things that need to change. The application itself was name, is this a team or individual project? All staff members a part of it.
And it's everybody
And
agree
it-
with the 175?
It was everybody.
And they're on YouTube, is anybody saying so?
No, people on YouTube were saying yes, were voting yes for the $2,000 for the grant funds to go through.
Okay,
The subject or class being taught, when is the completion date? What will you be using? The total amount? And then some essay portions. How will this meet the needs of student learning? What do you expect students to learn and or know? Where are you purchasing the items? And then we included an itemized budget. That way we know exactly what the money is going towards, and then acknowledging that they have to present in person.
I feel good about
Yeah, I think you did a very good job last year, I love it.
it, agreed.
And then here, including shipping in the itemized budget. And we just have to make sure where you're purchasing the items, it must be from an OCPS vendor, approved vendor, or, because I know there was thing
Or
with
Amazon, too.
Walmart. There was a thing with Walmart. We had to make
Yes.
sure,
Like Amazon's really the easiest, isn't it?
Amazon and Facebook.
and we can make that note in there. Amazon is the
And the district
easiest.
encourages like the use of the OCPS like Amazon account.
But I could just update this and forward it out to faculty.
Let's do it. We're good?
Awesome.
Yeah.
Any questions? Great job, Taurus. Thank you.
So we'll look into the cost of the stairs as well. Community involvement. We had a very busy month of February. We had the new student house induction. We had kindness week. We're currently in Unity week. And we had students participate in the OCPS All County Music Festival. And it was a really good time. PTA, thank you to everybody who participated and volunteered at the Sun event and the Daughter Dance. Just so you know, right now it is on the schedule for March 8th to do a spring festival, as Fall Festival was canceled due to Hurricane Nicole. I do know PTA will need volunteers for this event, so you can email them at their email address. Along with, there will be a spirit night on April 14th at the Solar Bear game, where they will be able, some navigators will be able to be in the entry tunnel and high five the players as they come onto the ice.
I have a question
Yes.
about the PTA. Question or comment? And I'm sorry, I don't want to sound like boring or anything, but I wanted to ask you guys. Is there any way the PTA, when they do the events, they can, I don't know, I noticed in February that it was like 2 events to
Spread out their events.
and I feel it on my budget. Like I have to pay for my son's event and for my daughter's event, and I feel it
Yeah.
on my budget. And I have my husband that support me. But what about mom that is a mom of 3 and is a single mom?
Yeah.
All the events, all the expensive events, all the field trips event in one
Sure.
month is kind of hard. Like I feel it on October with the 2 field trips and me participating in, and then this. Is there any way we as a parent can input that information? Like, can we have at least a month apart or something? Or is something like you guys have to have? I just wanted to have information.
That is
Because I
definitely
was trying
something to
Talk to them.
message PTA about. Exactly. And honestly, I would encourage, like, it's a lot of the board meeting together and making some of those plans. So I encourage everybody to like run for the PTA board and get involved in that way. No matter what, your input is always heard. But I would definitely reach out to PTA and just let them know
Yeah, they want
for
you.
future scheduling purposes. That would be significantly helpful to spread out events like
They
that.
receive very little input. Like they ask for input, they ask, and they receive very little. So like anytime someone has a suggestion, I don't mean to interrupt.
Oh no, you're good.
Anytime someone has something to offer, like I know that they would welcome it with open arms because
No,
the
but-
things they do, there's like five ladies who do 99% of the stuff, like decorate, organize all the events. So anytime you have a suggestion, I would throw it out there. So-
Yes. Yeah, eesptanavigator@gmail.com. That is, they're checking emails throughout the day. So I would definitely reach out to them to ensure that your voice is heard. We want to make sure that, as many navigators and everybody are able to participate in these events throughout the year.
Awesome, thank you.
You're welcome.
All right.
What's next? We got FSAA performance task for 3rd, 4th, and 5th grade. Wednesday, March 1st, just as a heads up, will be a long Wednesday for SAT testing. This is not a hurricane makeup day. This is high school SAT testing that day. So elementary schools will be dismissing at 3 p.m. Just like later in the year, high school will have to release later for our testing. Field day taking place Friday, March 10th, and we will need volunteers, and information will be posted on Additions and Class Dojo as we know more. Spring break taking place March 13th through the 17th, so Endeavor will be closed. And then Friday, March 24th is our next book club meeting. And then any questions, comments, concerns before we dismiss? I know it was a very hefty meeting. Thank you all so much for staying online and staying with us.
That was good, man. That's what it's all about.
Yeah, we hammered out a lot today.
All right, we're left with the skeleton crew, and if there's nobody online, I'm gonna motion to adjourn.
I second.
All right, let's get out of here.
We'll
Thank
see you all
Thank you,
Wednesday,
everybody.
March 29th. Thank you, thank you,
Mr.
thank
Betts, have a
you.
good night, or
Thank you, thank
afternoon,
you,
or
thank
day,
you.
whatever.
Have a fabulous day,
That was fun.
everybody.
If we need to vote, can we vote from YouTube?
You can, but listen, the